Alright guys, so the Sony FX lineup might be getting a new edition, and if I'm being completely honest with y'all, I was avoiding making this video just because I was kind of hoping the rumors weren't true, but they're starting to look like it might really be possible, it might really be coming towards us, so we're gonna talk about it inside this video. So Sony is rumored to be releasing a new camera called the Sony FX2, and if I'm being completely honest and transparent, this camera kind of confuses me, but at the same time, it addresses a need out there for a lot of creators, in my opinion. I know a lot of people are skeptical about this, but I feel like this camera can easily be an upgrade to the Sony A7 IV, but there's a caveat. We're gonna talk about that. All right, guys, before we dive deeper into this topic, just wanted to let you guys know, make sure you like and subscribe, especially if you like content like this. As you can see, I'm on the way to 1,000, so help me break that record. But let's get right into the video. All right, so let's talk about the rumored specs, and I don't remember everything about the rumored specs, so I'm gonna just read it off this spec sheet. So it's rumored to have 33 megapixel full frame sensor, so is the BSI sensor, so I believe that is the similar sensor that is in the A7 IV and the A7C II. It also has a viewfinder, which I love viewfinders, so this actually makes me happy. And then a big caveat that it has is that it has the audio 32-bit float. So I know a lot of the Lumix camera that just came out had 32-bit float audio, and this is very useful to just get clear, beautiful images. So we're gonna dive into how I feel like this can help, but just having good audio like that is very, very important as far as like when you're making content, documentary stuff, YouTube stuff. Audio gets you a lot of the way there. Having clear and concise audio would drastically improve any kind of project that you're working on. You can have a great image and bad audio and the project looks trash, or you can have a poor image and amazing audio and the project still is elevated and looks good. So definitely keep that in mind. Also, it has the video, as far as video capabilities, it has 4K 60 frames per second, rumored, and a Super 35 mode. All of the autofocus AI features, which we expected. And then for shutter, it has a mechanical shutter, and it also has a cooling, so an active cooling system and overheating system, well, rumored to have that. And the price, as far as ports and storage, so the same as the A7X, same as the A7X3, so the dual port, dual card slot, and also XLR inputs. And it also is expected, this is the big part, is expected to cost around $3,500. So just reading off that spec sheet and just thinking about it, I feel like this camera is perfect for someone like me. For everybody out there, you guys know my favorite camera, and I still believe that, even though I no longer own this camera, the best camera that I've ever used was the Sony A7 IV. And I feel like that is just an amazing hybrid camera because I take photos a lot, but I also primarily do video. So a lot of my photography work is lower end clients, events, things like that, fashion stuff, but also me just traveling, taking high-end photos. One thing that I love about this camera is that, yes, it does have the megapixels, so it has like 33 megapixels. I know a lot of people are worried about the rolling shutter in this camera, but if it performs anything like the A7 IV, I feel like it is going to be an amazing hybrid camera for people out there. And then when you throw on top of that the fact that it has an EVF, it has XLR ports, and it also has a cooling system, I feel like this is a direct replacement for the Sony A7 IV, which makes me wonder, is there gonna be a Sony A7 V? Because if I'm looking for a hybrid shooter, if I'm looking for a camera, if this camera actually comes out, this is a camera that I would probably have to highly consider getting as my B cam to my Sony FX6, just because it solves that need for me. Right now, I'm using the Sony FX30, which is very, very amazing, and it's also a good hybrid camera, and I've been using it to do some photography stuff, shoot some gender reveals, different things like that, shoot videos. I've been using my Sony FX30, but at the same time, it's Super 35 mode, and as far as like the actually using it as a hybrid camera, I can't use flash with it, which is so confusing because I just assumed that I could, because if you look at the Sony FX30 at the top, it has like the flash thing, but maybe I'm doing something wrong. If I am, let me know in the comment section below. But I feel like this is a direct replacement for the Sony A7 IV. So is this the Sony A7 V? I've always felt like a lot of people slept on Sony A7 IV's video capabilities. As far as the sensor, I know a lot of people may be worried about the rolling shutter. The sensor is amazing. The rolling shutter might not be the best in this camera, but again, that's something that I feel like you can work around. Some people won't like, that's just enough for them not to get the camera, but I feel like that's definitely something you can work around. I shot on the A7 IV for years and I was still very impressed with the images. I feel like if this camera were to come out, this is a camera that I would highly consider, but the biggest caveat is like that $3,500 price is insane. Well, all right, maybe I'm overreacting. I'm not gonna say that it's insane because this camera does have a lot of features that is very, very compelling, but I feel like that's just very, very expensive and is not that far off for the Sony FX3. So if you are primarily a video shooter, I feel like it makes more sense just to spend the extra money on a Sony FX3 or spend a little bit less and just get the Sony A7 III and you'll be perfectly fine. But if you truly need a hybrid camera, I can see this camera as being very, very enticing for most people out there. Now, what I will say is that if you need a hybrid camera and you're primarily just doing content stuff, YouTube stuff, you're not doing professional jobs that require you to shoot podcasts for long amount of time, and you don't need your camera to work, I would say just get the Sony A7 IV. Just stop this video now. Go get the Sony A7 IV because that camera's still gonna be good 5 years from now. That's how good that camera is. But for someone like me that shoots events and I need my camera to be reliable, I can't deal with the overheating stuff, I don't have the patience for it, this is a camera that I would highly consider because I feel like it's directly made for me. Just as far as having the 32-bit float audio, the XLR ports, all of the features that's needed for professional video, but then also offering 32 megapixels as far as photography wise, and I'm hoping that you can actually use a flash with this camera because I don't know why you can't do that with the FX30, but yeah. So as far as the community, I've been like, this came out a few days ago or maybe even a week ago, and I haven't made a video on it just because, one, I didn't believe it, but I wanted to take more time just to just read more forums and just see what people are thinking. And as far as I know, a lot of people are conflicted with this because some people are complaining about like possible rolling shutter, the price, and another thing that people are confused about is the target audience. Like they don't know if this is for inspiring filmmakers, content creators, photographers. Like, what is this camera for? And I feel like this camera is meant to be, I feel like it is a I feel like this camera is meant for the hybrid shooter, which I felt like the Sony A7 IV was meant for, but I feel like this camera falls under that bracket. It's another amazing camera that has amazing features, but I feel like this camera can help a lot video-wise, and I feel like it's the perfect, except for the price, but it's the perfect, as far as the just specs and everything that it can do, it's the perfect B camera for someone who already has an A cam. Maybe you already have a FX3, maybe you already have a FX6 or whatever, and you need a B cam that can also give you the flexibility of doing photography because like the filmmaking space is changing. People, like this content creation space and all that is changing. You don't just need high quality photos anymore, high quality videos. A lot of people that contact me, they're looking for both. So I feel like this camera is just meant to address that need. And I feel like a lot of people are worrying about what box it fit in, but I feel like it's going to change depending on the person that's using it. So don't overstress or think about that. All right, so final thoughts. I feel like if this camera does come out, I will be intrigued. The price has me skeptical, I'm not gonna lie. So I don't know if this is a camera that I would buy right off rip. Maybe wait a little bit, see how it does, see what people are saying about it, and then see if I could get it on the used market. That's probably the approach that I'll go with this camera. I wouldn't be like just running up like, Sony, take my money. But it is impressive and I'm excited to see. At the end of the day, a lot of people have doubted a whole bunch of cameras that Sony have come out with, but a lot of people also love the cameras that Sony come out with. So I wouldn't just shun it or put it down. But little call to action, I wanna know what you guys think. Also, I haven't like read every single forum and all that. So if you guys have more updates on this, whether it's happening or not, whether we're gonna see the A7 IV, what specs you guys wanna see in the next Sony camera release, whether it's a FX3 Mark II, like what are you guys waiting for? Are you waiting for a Sony FX3 Mark II, a Sony A7 IV? Like what camera are you waiting for and what are you hoping to see in it and the reasons why you feel like you wanna leave the camera that you have right now? But with that being said, love y'all, on the road to 1,000. Let's make it work. Catch y'all in the next one.